Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is King Ruthless and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be a Zerg versus Terran on the map Typhon Peaks. Let's go ahead and introduce our two players. And the top right position is my man HamsterSales, also known as HamsterSalesLLC. He is also a YouTube channel commentator, does commentary on StarCraft 2 games as well. He is now at Diamond Zerg. Let's go and introduce his opponent. His name is Saul. And he will be spawning in the left-hand corner. And HamsterSales gets a good look, have fun. I don't think Saul does this game. I've actually watched this replay several times, and I just wasn't really happy with the cast that I gave so far. Maybe I'll leave that up there a little bit longer. Yeah, I'll leave that up there a little bit longer so I don't forget their names. Especially Saul's name, it's really hard to memorize that. But let me go ahead and give a plug right here. HamsterSalesLLC has his own YouTube channel. Check it out. It is youtube.com/HamsterSalesLLC. Definitely check it out. Tons of fun, and it is higher production quality than mine. That is because his wife is awesome and helps out with that as well. And he's a pretty good caster, so definitely check him out when you get a chance. Again, that is youtube.com/HamsterSalesLLC. And I want to go ahead and do some announcements here, since not much goes on in the very beginnings of a ZVT unless you have some sort of bunker rush, which probably won't be happening since Saul is throwing down a refinery before barracks. So we will see what happens. But here's the first announcement. If you guys have been living under a bridge, you wouldn't know about this, but you should know about this by now if you've watched my channel enough times. I will be casting the best of 5 series between Ogza, the Master Zerg from France, and his first opponent. When I started this Ogza series on his thread at teamliquid.net, his first opponent, his name was RageQuitTMO, and it was pretty successful, the video. It got over 1,000 views, and so RageQuitTMO saw it and said, you know, this wasn't my best game, I can do a lot better, and I want to challenge Ogza to a best of 5. So we talked it over and we decided that we were going to do a best of 5 series. I will be live casting the event this Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. This will be going on, I guess, at 20:30, I guess. What is 20:30? That'd be 8:30 France time. But yeah, I have an EU account, so I can live cast that series, and I will have to live cast this event with live stream. A lot of people out there prefer Justin.tv or Twitch.tv. They prefer it, but the problem with that is I live in the southeast of the United States, and Justin TV, for some reason, just their servers don't treat us too well over in the southeast. So it ends up being in a lot of lag and just not enjoyable for anyone. I actually tried to live stream an event of just me laddering on StarCraft 2, and it was just horrible. Just so much lag going on, it just wasn't fun to watch, and that's why I'm doing live stream, because livestream.com actually provides superior streaming quality for us in the southeast United States. So that is why I will be using live stream, and you should definitely check it out. Again, that is this Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check it out at livestream.com/KingaRuthless. So be sure to tune in, and I'm going to go ahead and get back into this game. Let's take away these names. HamsterSales versus Saul. HamsterSales is going to scoot his Zergling up here and see a reactor on a barracks with a bunker, so you can pretty much expect some sort of Hellion expand beyond this. That is a very popular build. HamsterSales, I think, went for a 14-14. Already has out his second queen. Has thrown down his their hatchery at his natural. And yeah, not much else going on here. It looks like HamsterSales is going to throw down a Roach Warren. He does know that Hellions are probably coming, so Roach Warren is a really safe way to fend that off. And he should, if he makes another Overlord, have enough supply to make roaches, but we'll see what he decides to do. But yeah, he sent me this replay a while back. Sorry, buddy, it's taken me a long time to actually cast this. I did a cast before, it just wasn't very good, so I don't put up casts if they're not any good. I would prefer all my videos that go onto YouTube be of the best quality that I can provide. So we do see 2 more Hellions on the way for Saul. This will make a total of 5 Hellions, and he's making another command center and another refinery, so he might be going into some sort of starport play beyond this. We will have to see. A little bit supply blocked at the moment, but this Zergling does get roasted by these 5 Hellions, so 3 roaches immediately coming out, and Zerglings are nicely positioned right here in front of the ramp. This queen will go to block off the ramp from the rest of the Hellions. The second queen will help that block off, and the Zerglings will move out of the way just in time. The Hellions can come in here and do virtually no damage, There are roaches out. So the Hellions are going to try and come up the ramp. Will not happen. They have been denied. And so now all the Hellions will have to turn tail and run back home. And, you know, HamsterSales should be fine now just to drone up, which he does. He's making 9 more drones. And, I mean, honestly, he can start, you know, he can put his queens back onto the hatcheries, start injecting, and maybe block off this ramp with 1 or, you know, it's about 2 or 3 roaches should do a complete wall off. But instead he's going to position them out here in the front and deny any Hellions that do decide to come his way. With the proper micro, you don't even have to block this off, really. You can just surround with your lings and kill with the rest of your roaches. Spine Crawler going down, 2 spines going down for HamsterSales, so he will remain pretty safe. No Hellion run-bys should occur. It's a pretty decent wall-off. And meanwhile, he is teching towards Lair, so that has just started. And Saul is going for his expansion. And let's look at the income harvester tab since not much else is going on. It looks like a starport is going down for Saul. And if he wanted to, he could start Banshee production. His gas is a bit high. But he's building so many buildings right now, his minerals are so low. Not really producing anything else out of this factory, even though it has a reactor on it. I feel like you could honestly... Well, I don't know. Not sure why he's making a tech lab on this barracks. I'm not really sure what's going on with this build. To be quite honest, he is starting tank production and marauder production. This be a strange little mix of units here. He'll have marines and Hellions and marauders and a tank. Also throwing down an engineering bay and another refinery. So he's going to have a lot of gas here, but gas is already quite high, so not sure what he's going to be doing with that. HamsterSales is actually making a baneling out front. This is not the best place to put a baneling unless you have burrow, and then you can burrow that sucker and do some nice damage to any push that does come out. But it doesn't look like burrow's on the way, just a lot of drones. So let's look at the income tab. 44 to 34, so nice lead for HamsterSales. And Saul's going to have to do some sort of damage with these Hellions if he wants to catch back up. He's throwing down another barracks. I'm not sure why. If he has 3 factories, that means he wants to go Mech. And really, you just want to make lots and lots of Mech units if you're going to go Mech. Maybe make a... Maybe make the starport for, if you want to go for a Viking and a medevac, and you can do a drop and also kill off overlords. That's quite a nice, little build right there. But he's getting a lot of gas, and I mean he's just gonna be very gas heavy. He'll need to take a fast third if he's gonna go for all this gas and just get more workers on. I mean it's still only at 37, so we will see what happens. Now it's slowly climbing back up. He is doing a decent job making SCVs 2 at a time. Meanwhile, Spire has gone down for HamsterSales, as well as melee attack level 1 and Carapace level 1. So there is a Spire. And as well, I think he has finished up on that Overlord speed. Let's see. Yeah, I think he has. It's pretty fast movement. A little bit oversaturated here. HamsterSales could really just expand here. I know a lot of Zergs are just a little bit precautious about doing that. But really, you don't want to expand any, later than the 10-minute mark unless you sense a push is coming. Meanwhile, this Overlord will pretty much just fly into the base and scout everything. 1 Viking is on the way from the starport. That could be used to clear off a couple of Overlords. We shall see. HamsterSales is meanwhile dropping creep down at this 3rd expansion, so it will force Terran to have to kill this Overlord before he can land an expansion down. No expansion on the way, so I guess he's gearing up for a timing push. Not sure how effective this is going to be. This is quite a strange little unit comp he has going. The Zergling is going out here as well. Probably waiting for burrow so he can burrow this Zergling down here and be ever more annoying. But HamsterSales is actually going to double expand. This isn't a bad idea, but he needs to start picking away at these rocks, which he will start to do. And also throwing down 4 spine crawlers. Well, 3 spine crawlers and moving up his 4th. Meanwhile, leaving 1 back near the mineral line to keep them safe from run-bys. And making lots of banelings and more Zerglings. So let's look at the income tab. He has about 57 harvesters. This is about the time that you want to start making a lot of units of Zerg. And then once you can secure your 3rd and 4th, you can start back on the drone production. And meanwhile, we have this strange little unit composition here. No stem, +1 attack, no siege. This is a mistake. Oh gosh, if you're going to make tanks, you need siege against Zerg. You really do. 2 Vikings out here. They could be out hunting Overlords. We will have to see what they end up doing. Overlord finally does go down because this missile turret has gone up. And now he is starting to produce out of 2 of these factories, but he needs to make more Hellions. He's stopped Hellion production for some reason. and can start sending SCVs 2 at a time to make these supply depots, which I guess he is doing now. So yeah, that is pretty good. I just don't know about this unit composition. I guess he's going to push out when he has a couple of Thors. Yeah, he has 2 Thors, a bunch of Hellions, no Blue Flame. So yeah, I would like to see that Blue Flame. I would like to also see that he has Siege for his tanks. I'm not sure how well this push is going to do. It's just a very piecemeal push. He's going to poke up in here, and he's going to see lots of Spine Crawlers. So 28 more Zerglings are on the way for HamsterSales. And quite a few mutas as well. He does have Banelings as well and some Roaches. When you see this kind of an army composition, I mean, you can kill it with pure Banelings, especially if he doesn't have Siege. Because really, Siege tanks are the ones that are there to kill off Banelings and make sure that they can't get any damage done. Meanwhile, we have 1 Mutalisk versus 1 Viking. HamsterSales needs to bring more Mutalisks, because one-on-one, a Mutalisk does not beat a Viking. Instead, he will bring all his Spine Crawlers down to the expansion to make sure that this Viking is actually going to start getting some drone kills, deciding to land. So no reaction from HamsterSales at the moment, and he's going to push in, and there's not much that Saul can do here. He's not sieged. He's just in a terrible position. All the Banelings do roll in and take out quite a few of the units, and now there's not much of an army left over. I don't think there's any tanks, but they weren't doing much to begin with. So now an army of pure Roaches could pretty much take this out. Meanwhile, morphing in more Banelings. The Zerglings need to run back. They're going to get chewed up alive by all these Hellions. Mutalisks coming in as well. They need to back off, wait for the Banelings to arrive. And now the Banelings do have speed. They're going to roll in and target the Thors. I'm not sure I agree with that, but 20 more Zerglings are on the way. They will be able to take out the rest of these Thors. And now this push has kind of failed. He hasn't done any damage to the economy. If he's smart, he should just fall back here. He's just not in any good position. He doesn't have Hellions to support this. 2 Hellions is not going to be enough to kill all these Zerglings. And yeah, these 2 Thors go down. That's really big. That is really big, losing all of those Thors so early on. So held off by HamsterSales. Yeah, he is going to fall back finally. He's trying to land his command center here, but unfortunately, there is creep in the way, as well as a burrowed Zergling, so he'll have to shoo away this Overlord, which he will do with these Vikings, and then he'll have to get rid of that Zergling. I'm not sure why he's continuing Viking production. They're not the best against Mutalisks. In fact, if you see the Zerg has gone Mutalisks, then you should probably stop Viking production, unless you think he's going to start going Broodlords. But it's just, yeah, I just don't like Vikings so much in TVZ. Maybe make 1 Viking to clear away Overlords. That's actually not a bad idea. It's also trying to line this command center, but waiting for the creep to get out of the way. Throwing down mules at this mineral patch, that's a mistake. You don't want to do that. But meanwhile, I mean, Saul just hasn't really reinforced this as well as he could have. And you can see his economy is really starting to suffer because he hasn't taken more expansions. Saul doesn't see that there's a burrowed Zergling here. Still cannot land his command center. And meanwhile, we do have drones transferring down to the 4th. I guess they're going to make 3 spines here. So we'll keep it safe from Hellion run-bys for the most part. And yeah, Saul still cannot land this command center. This is pretty hilarious. So yes, burrowed Zerglings are really nice against Terran when they're trying to take extra bases. It's great for denying those extra bases. Meanwhile, another factory going down with a tech lab on it. I guess for more tank and Thor production. I guess he's just going pure Thors at this point. So he's going Thor Hellion. But if you're going to go Thor Hellion like this, you want to get that blue flame. I think he does have... Does he have the blue flame upgrade? No, he's just starting it. It's way late. He needs siege for these tanks. That's the best way to keep a Zerg from just going match Roach and killing you. But you see HamsterSales just going for a lot of Lings and a lot of Banelings. And I think they are at 1-1. Yes, they are. Lots of more Banelings being morphed in for HamsterSales. Doing a good job macroing so far, but is getting supply locked momentarily. Also, let's see, look at the income tab. Still at 57 to 64, so Saul has actually surpassed HamsterSales. He needs to make another 2 round of drones maybe. Well, off of 4 hatcheries, you can just make 1 round and then you're good. Not mining at all from this extractor. That's a bit of a mistake. Roaches do not have glare over Constitution, and that's what you want against Mech. You want a Roach heavy build. And if you scouted that many factories, you just want to start going Roaches and go Roach Infester. It works quite well. But now the blue flame is done for Saul, who dispose of these Zerglings. And yeah, so it looks like we have 6 Thors and a bunch of Hellions. I still don't know why he's making Marauders. You don't need them if you have Thors. So he's going to push out here again. I'm not sure if this is going to be very successful. Maybe he's just posturing himself in the middle of the map. But again, these... Okay, so these tanks finally do have siege mode. He needs more tanks in this composition. I mean, that's plenty of Thors. You don't need any more. And if it wasn't already 20 minutes into the game, there weren't already this many Banelings out, this push would be a bit more deadly. But we'll see how HamsterSales deals with this impending push. And again, here rolling the Banelings and Zerglings, the tanks finally do siege up, but there are just so many units just going to run through all of these tanks and Hellions. But the Hellions doing a great job killing off a lot of Zerglings. But, I mean, did Saul lose too much in that engagement? He is going to lose one of these Thors, might possibly lose a second Thor, yes he does, and could also lose a third Thor. He would only be down to 1 Thor after that. But I think this Thor will go down, yes, so he's lost the majority of this army, and now the Mech player just doesn't really have much to support, and it's because he just didn't have a high enough tank count. So if you allow your Zerg opponents to just, you know, macro up on 4 bases and also have a Roach Warren, you can expect your army, your push, to just get destroyed like that. I'm not sure what Saul was thinking. He's making this into another command center. He needs to take like 2 expansions, really. He's just so light on... You know, now he's not spending his money, so I'm not sure what he's doing. But then again, it takes forever for Terran to remake their army. He could just... I don't know. I just really don't know what he's doing here. Because he doesn't have these all hotkeyed correctly. But yeah, Terran's not making the best unit compositions and not engaging in the correct way. Meanwhile, these roaches are going to come into the 3rd and start to pick away at this command center. The Hellions will come by and start to prove to be annoying. Sim has, you know, finally researched for these for bio, but there's just not much here. So since these roaches do not have Gliero Constitution, they will not be able to chase down these Thors or these Hellions. They're just so slow. So he really needs to fall back with these roaches and collect with his army. Meanwhile, HamsterSales is taking a 5th. So HamsterSales is doing a fine job. He's doing a little bit better with his injects. He has, and now, I mean, I would like to see an infestation pit and maybe go to Hive Tech, and that would be quite nice, especially if you get that Neural Parasite upgrade. You can Neural Parasite the Thors and then just wreak havoc on Terran's army, or even if necessary, if you can't get in range of the Thors, at least get the tanks so you can bombard the Blue Flame Hellions in the tanks. So 2 more factories going down for Saul. I'm not sure what he's doing with these SCVs right here. They're just hanging out, not doing much of anything, just being very slow to take his 4th, and this is really going to hurt. I mean, Zerg is on 4 bases now, and he's about to take a 5th, and Terran still is only on 3 bases, has lost his army twice. There's just not much going on here for Saul. Income tab still shows that that HamsterSales is still only at 56. Now he's finally crawled back up into the mid-60s range. Preferably a Zerg, you want to get up into the 70s to possibly 80s. If you're at 80 drones, you can just make tons and tons of units non-stop and just continue that aggression. But let's look at the unit count here. We have 25 roaches, 50 Zerglings, 28 Banelings against 2 Thors, 7 tanks, 11 Hellions, and 9 Marauders, with a handful of Marines as well. And depending on the positioning of this army, he could do some damage. I just feel like he needs to protect his 3rd and 4th at this point in time. He is going to have to clear away this Zergling, and really he needs to siege up his tanks, and he needs to keep his units close to his tanks. He doesn't need to get too adventurous with these units. They don't need to stay so far out front. These tanks are a little bit too far behind, and the army is going to roll in, take out one of the Thors, take out a ton of the units. These tanks are not being as efficient as they could be because they're so far back. The Zerglings just running in and destroying the entire army. So Saul's forces will go down, and this should be GG for Saul. I mean, now it's going to take him forever to reinforce his army if he's going for pure mech, and meanwhile HamsterSales will just make lots and lots of roaches and kill everything. And yeah, this should be game. There's not much that Saul can do at this point. I'm not sure what his mindset was for the matchup. His unit composition didn't make sense, his build didn't make much sense, and yeah, HamsterSales can just come in here, pick off this command center. Might want to start focus firing the tanks, which I think he will do. Just So we're doing some stutter step micro with roaches, and this is game. There is nothing that Saul can do at this point to come back. He is dead. I think this orbital command will burn down. The factories are being target fired as well. And yeah, this just does it. Just so many roaches. He didn't have enough tanks for that second engagement. That first engagement made no sense. Saul is complaining that roaches are OP, but I say what is underpowered is making really terrible builds and pushing out at bad times and doing bad engagements. I mean, he pushed out when he didn't have siege, when he didn't have blue flame, he didn't have stim. I don't understand that push at all that he did. That first push failed, and that puts Terran significantly behind, and then he failed the second push horrendously, lost his entire army. And yeah, so the final defense that he tried to have, it just wasn't enough. His tanks were out of position, and really HamsterSales just had so many units, it didn't matter at that point. So that'll do it for the game. I hope you guys have enjoyed the cast. And once again, check out my man HamsterSales channel. His channel is youtube.com/HamsterSalesLLC. Definitely check it out. And again, rate, subscribe, comment, all those fun things, and favorite. And I will see you guys next time. Peace and chicken grease.